At Big Lou's, from A Time of Love and Tartan, by Alexander McCall Smith. When Matthew went over to Big Lou's for his morning coffee, he either left Pat in charge of the gallery, if it was one of her days to be there, or he locked the door behind him, putting up a note that said, "Back in 15 minutes," or thereabouts, depending. This wording had always amused Pat. "It's a bit odd to say depending," she remarked. "People will think you're indecisive. Not that you are, of course. You aren't. If you see what I mean." "But it's true," replied Matthew. "What it says is true. What we think will happen always depends on all sorts of things. And we can't be sure whether those things will happen or not happen, if you see what I mean." Pat thought about this. Yes, human affairs were uncertain. Yes, matters did not always work out as we hoped they would work out. But surely we could not go through life qualifying everything like this. So should an airline say the flight to wherever will leave at 3 o'clock, or whatever, depending? "Yes," said Matthew, "because it does depend. And that, if I may say so, Pat, is a good example. The departure of any plane often does depend on all sorts of things. Whether there's a plane, for a start. You know how airlines cancel flights if they don't have a plane available? They do that, you know. It really does depend. They call it operational reasons. No plane, operational reasons. No pilot to fly it, operational reasons. But that's implicit." Matthew shook his head. "No, it's not. People think that 3 o'clock means 3 o'clock. They're funny that way." Pat laughed. "I'd never call you a pedant, Matthew, but—" He looked injured. "I'm sorry." "No need to apologize," he said. "It's just that I think people should be, well, a bit more honest. We don't like being told half-truths or being lied to. People can tell, you know. They know when they are being lied to. Politicians find that out, eventually." "Churchill told the truth," he said. "He told people what lay ahead. He said he had nothing to offer them but blood, sweat, and tears. He was a politician. Can you think of any politician, any, who would say that to people these days? I've got bad news for you. You're going to have to work harder for longer and have less money to spend. Who would say that? Name one." "Well, they may not actually say it," said Pat. "But there are degrees of willingness to come clean. Some are more prepared to say that sort of thing than others." "But they won't say it directly," said Matthew. "They won't say it outright, because people won't vote for people who say it's going to be tough. They just won't. They vote for whoever says they're going to get free sandwiches for life. You tell people that, and boy, do they like you." That morning, he knew that Pat would probably arrive while he was out at Big Lou's for coffee. but he nonetheless hung the conditional notice, the honest notice as he called it, on the door and crossed the road to Big Lou's. Pat had a key to the gallery and could let herself in. "This place smells of bacon," said Matthew, sniffing at the air as he entered. Lou, who was polishing the gudger, turned around. "It may have something to do with the fact that I sell bacon rolls, Matthew." Matthew laughed. "I'm not saying it's a bad smell, Lou. In fact, it's one of the best smells there is, as far as I'm concerned. The smell of the forbidden." "Bacon rolls? Who's forbidding you from eating bacon rolls?" "Elspeth," said Matthew. "She says they're bad for you." "Ah, away with all that," said Lou. "What's wrong with bacon? I know plenty of people who eat bacon every day of their lives. My Uncle Willie, for example. He had 3 large rashers every morning, 2 fried eggs and 3 rashers of bacon. After his porridge, of course." "What happened to him?" asked Matthew. Lou looked surprised. "What happened to him? Uncle Willie? He's dead." Matthew smiled. "Well, there you are. He's dead." "But not from bacon rolls," said Lou quickly. "The tractor ran over him." Matthew made an effort to look solemn. "I'm sorry. That had nothing to do with the bacon, obviously." There were all sorts of hazards in living on those northeast farms. Not only tractors, but the cold, for example. People froze to death up there. Certainly they did in Aberdeen. "I'm not saying that you shouldn't listen to these people telling you what to eat," said Lou. "All I'm saying is that you shouldn't worry too much. Look at eggs. We were told not to eat eggs, and now they're saying we should. Well, I carried on eating eggs all the way through. Now they're all right again. Eggs are good. Vitamin D or something." "In the yolk," said Matthew. "Eggs have vitamin D in their yolks. And we don't have enough vitamin D in us in Scotland, Lou. We're all vitamin D deficient, apparently. Just between October and March, I think." He paused. "I've got an idea for you, Lou. I've got an idea how you could help improve Scotland's health." "I'm not taking bacon rolls off the menu." "Oh, no. It's nothing to do with that." "Because there would be an awful lot of people who'd feel pretty sore if I did that," continued Lou. "You can carry on serving bacon," said Matthew. "But how about putting a touch of vitamin D in your coffee? It wouldn't have to be much, apparently. We need only 10 micrograms a person a day. Put it in the coffee you serve, then we'd get it that way. Simple." Big Lou looked at him. "Are you serious?" Matthew nodded. "It would help. It could be your contribution." Big Lou looked thoughtful. "I don't like the thought of all those folk being vitamin D deficient." "Maybe." Lou served Matthew his coffee. He looked down at it. Trust, he thought. We take so much on trust People give us things to eat and drink, and we trust them. We have no idea what may be in the things before us, but we proceed on the basis of trust. Is there anything in my coffee, Lou? Big Lou smiled at him. Bromide, she said.